It's the Heat, SIRIUSXM. I'm Mina SayWhat. You're locked into Mina's house. I have Diplo joining the house today. Yes,
Hey,
yes.
yeah. What's
What's
up?
up, Diplo? How you doing today?
Man, I can't be doing any better. Just chilling out here in LA. Lovely day.
Lovely weather, I'm sure. I'm in New Jersey, so it's getting a little cold over here.
Yeah, summer never ended in LA. It's been going on since like last February.
Right, right. So, Diplo, I have so many questions for you because, one, I've been on air a long time in Philly, and this is where you're from. So I have a lot of questions related to that. But then I also have a lot of questions about like Diplo versus Major Lazer. So
Right.
when we're having conversations in the office, I remember at one point when I first started hearing about Major Lazer, I thought it was like one person, right? And I didn't even know it was you, right? This was years ago. So then it went from like one person to two people. And then this is kind of around the time where I found out that Diplo is actually in Major Lazer. So then it went from two people to three people. So for people who like probably don't even realize that it's the same person, can you break it down how all of that happened for you?
Back in the day, I think in the early 2000s, I was just a producer, produced every kind of music. I was doing hip hop, R&B, and then I went to England. I started doing a lot of the new music there, like a lot of the fusion. Before there was like, the grime and hip hop there and African music. I was producing this kind of like in between pop music and world music, and artists like MIA and Santi Gold and
Right.
Kano and a bunch of like rappers would be on. Chris Brown was into that sound, and I made so many records with my partner Switch, who was another guy I was working with, and we just had leftover songs. Like, and people were like, "Oh, I might make 4 songs with the artist," and they take like 1 or 2 for the album. So after a while, I just had like extra records, writing demos, and we just kind of created Major Lazer out of that. Like almost 12 years ago, we just made the project as sort of like the fun records, and we had no idea it was going to be big. But one of the songs on the first album was called "Pon the Floor," which was a huge
I
anthem.
remember that.
And
Yeah.
like clubs and everything, and like Vibes Cartel was on it, and Beyonce sampled it, and
Right.
the record just kind of became a catalyst for us to keep doing the album. The next album we did had Boomaye, which is a really big record all over Europe, and then the third album had like Lean On and Light It Up, and we just had like crazy big records. So we just kind of, and the people, changing. The other guy I produced with was like, I don't really want to tour this project. I want to just like sit at home. So brought on my boy Walsh, and then brought on my boy Ape Drums, and we just been the same crew for the last 4 or 5 years. And then yeah, drop a new album this year. So it's good to be around that long.
Yeah, and it's also a blessing that you kind of are seeing success in like two different lanes under like two monikers. Like
Yeah.
Diplo's a very well-known name, and so is Major Lazer. So like at this point, how do you even know when to separate? Like this is for Major Lazer, and then this is for Diplo.
Well, Diplo is sort of like at this point, it's like a brand. It's, the way you market yourself as an artist these days is through social media, and I've always been doing that. And it's been, more, you can more identify with Diplo like as my social media, what I'm doing on there, because the music is so random. It's country music to hip hop. I did like, a lot of dance music. So it's literally everything, but you kind of just got to be a fan of like my brand. Major Laser's always been specifically like dance hall leaning and like club music and world music. And we always bring artists like Mr. Easy together with Nicki Minaj to make something that's a fusion. So we're really specific with that sound. So I don't mind that people don't know that I'm also Major Lazer. I kind of like the anonymity of it because it's all about the music, more about the artist.
I think it's fire. You get to be like this dance hall kind of worldly Spanish reggaeton
Yeah,
pop fusion, and then you get to separate and be like Diplo, and more like the Skrillex and in that
yeah.
lane and more like techno electronica. I think it's fire. I just always wonder when I finally realized it was you, I'm like, how does he separate? And then how does that go into the business aspect of it? Like, are you both signed to the to the same
Yeah.
label? Are you both
Um,
independent? How does that work?
Since the beginning, I signed my first Major Lazer project to this record label called Downtown. At the time, they had like had Cold War Kid. They had a bunch of like big artists back then, but we were one of the first people. And then we went to Interscope, and then we got dropped actually right before I had our big record. They didn't like our single, so it was a blessing because since then I've been independent, and every record I've done has been really massive, and we've done it all our own, no label. Um, and I pioneered being an independent person on Spotify and on different on Apple Music and YouTube, just promoting our music straight to the fans without a label. So it's been kind of crazy to like see the growth there. When it comes to Diplo, I actually signed my first deal with a major label. I'm like old now. I'm like been in the game for like 20 years. I finally signed my first deal with Columbia this year just to try it out, because I was like, I've done everything independently, see what a label would do. And Columbia is like the label to watch right now. They have all the big hip hop records.
They have
did
Beyonce,
Beyonce, Dell, you know, a lot of cutting edge records. And we did this country album with them this year, which is surprisingly big. So I just try to I'm always experimenting, whether it's independent, what I can do for myself, and then try to see what I can get from a major label.
All right.
All you gotta do is gotta be in full control and awareness of what your situation is. Like, you don't have to sign to a label, and you also don't have to be independent, but if you want to benefit, you see what you get out of either one of those things. If you're going to be independent though, you better be putting a lot of work in. You have to work really hard, double hard, because you're doing the same jobs, plugging radio, you know, being your A&R, making videos, you're doing all that on your own.
So we were talking about how you separate like the Diplo thing from the Major Lazer thing. And the reason why I asked was I was at Made in America, and you headlined one of the major stages at Made in America. And this is actually the first time that I had ever seen you perform and actually DJ. And I was like so impressed with the fact that you literally DJ'd for like over an hour, and how you fuse like all the different genres together, and also how you synchronize the lighting. And then I started doing research, right? So then I saw, okay, this guy makes bank, like just DJing and touring the world, like one of the top touring DJs, just playing music, right? So then I'm like, but wait, how does that separate from Major Lazer? When Major Lazer goes on tour, is it the same thing? So I wanted to ask all of that. Like, first of all, let's talk about you DJing in general. Do you prepare for that? Are you set up, or is that
talking about the Nicki Minaj? The thing was, at that Made in America tour, I've always been like doing shows in Philly, and it was always a big festival. Made in America had like the best lineups, more R&B and hip hop leaning, but they booked me for that. I was so hyped because I hadn't played on a big stage in Philly. I've done my own parties there for years, but I had so many fans there, like all the college kids, local kids. And Nicki Minaj headlined on my stage.
Yeah.
She was like an hour late. And I remember Jay-Z and Beyonce on the side of the stage. I was like playing little things and mix it with them. And to be honest, I prepare a little bit, but you can never prepare when they're like, hey, Nicki's not coming on, she's late, can you play for like 30, 40 more minutes? I'm like, I mean, I'm not gonna say no, it's Philly. You know, everybody's like in the crowd, they're all hyped. So I had to like just pull all that records out of my ass. I had to keep playing random stuff and mix hip hop records and just do stuff and have fun. And luckily my lighting guys, like they're really good at improvising movies.
Okay.
So they do that too. But that was a special set because I'm gonna keep playing until I don't want to let the crowd down and have to sit there for an hour and wait. And then when it comes to Major Lazer, it's a crazy show. I've been touring for like 15 years in Europe, and the festival circuit is so much different than what you see in America. And America was just getting big with the festivals in every city the last couple of years till the COVID happened. But when it comes back, we have a huge tour to do. We have a lot of records to play, so I'm excited for that.
So when Major Lazer goes on tour, it's more so you guys are performing the songs rather than you DJing it, or is it the same kind of thing?
We get artists to play with us sometimes, but it's more like a live, like we kind of transform like what you would see at a carnival party. Like if you ever go to like the Parkway in Brooklyn or like Puerto Rican Day Parade or something, we kind of our carnival in Brazil, we kind of make that like live. We have, we're DJing, but we have dancers everywhere. We have like a lot of different skits we do, and we have an MC that hosts it. It's just like a big party. And actually, I think it's sometimes better than a live act because you get bored of someone on stage. Like a rapper, they just like sing their ad libs. Like they're kind of like
you were so fire. Like that was better than watching someone perform. And I had never seen you live, so that's why it caught me off guard. And I was just really more so impressed how you mixed all the different types of music, which is very Major Lazer-y.
Yeah, but also Philly, that's where I started DJing really there. And it was like always this new scene where the kids were very mixed. It was like a hipster scene. So the kids
they do them little dances, right?
Yeah, they're from like, the Northeast, they're from everywhere, and they all like the same records. You just connect them with a little bit of like Uzi Vert and Meek Mill. You could throw in some house records that are big in the city because house music was really big in Philly and Baltimore. Yeah. Like you talk to Diamond Cuts, he always like rocks the Baltimore club records, and like the kids in Philly just have like everything. They can listen to all records, so it's up to me to like really mash it up and make it so it's a big party.
Oh, it was so fire. We got to get to this record. On the way, we're going to talk about this Oh My God record, which I love. Major Lazer, a.k.a. Diplo, is joining us here in Mina's house on the Heat, SiriusXM. So you actually have a channel here on the platform, which your
Right.
channel does a lot of similarly what we're talking about. You know, how involved are you with that? Are you picking the songs?
I mean, I do 2 mixes a week on there, and I help book all the DJs because we have a lot of DJs that do sets all week long. It's more of a mix of dance music, house music, a little bit of personality, but it's a dance station. And we playlists probably we change like 20 records a month, and they play a lot of classics that we pick out. And I don't know, I love the station. Every time I'm in the Uber in LA, it's always on. That's like the Uber go-to station, is like Diplo's Revolution. So check it out if you don't know. It's 52, it's channel 52, I think, right?
Yep, absolutely. So, I live in South Jersey. I'm a Jersey girl. I lived all over Jersey. I work a lot in Philly. So I know your Philly roots. So the word is that you used to be a teacher in Philly.
Yeah.
So can you talk about that? What kind of teacher were you?
I don't know if you know, like the Northeast, like kind of like I guess between K and A, like up in the north, like you take the subway all the way to the top of basically the end, like
SEPTA, yeah.
Like De Borges High School is like a mostly Puerto Rican school, and I was working there as a TSA, so I was like a social worker, and then I switched to another high school as like an after school care teacher for kids that didn't have anywhere to go home to or needed help. So I did like basically 1 to 5 p.m. just like helping kids out, making projects. Really progressive, cool teachers. I mean, Philly had a really good scene with, if you had a college degree, it was really easy to go and work in social services, and there's a lot of cool young people. A lot of musicians were into it, and it's a job you can go to every day and feel like you accomplished something. It's hard though because the kids are rough out there.
Yeah,
Like
the kids play
they
no
will
games.
stab you with a pencil. And,
Not a pencil.
And blame. That's the only weapon they can get their hands on sometimes, and then they'll blame you, and then the parents might try to kill you. So it was rough, but I'm glad I cut my teeth in Philly because if you can do it there, you can do it anywhere, really.
Yes, absolutely. So how do you transition from being a teacher to producing music?
I think you don't ever transition to producing music. You always try to do it. You just happen to get a break. Music is not something you transition to. You just pray, and maybe sometimes you can get it. That's all it is.
God comes in and here's your song. Go ahead.
100%.
So speaking of songs, I love this Oh My God record. We've been playing it. I mean, we get a lot of positive feedback on social media. Every time I play it, someone's like, yo, this is my song. Thank you for playing it. Mr. Easy's on this, Nicki Minaj. Can you talk about how this record came together? Because this is like the perfect record.
I think, Mr. Easy is one of my favorite writers. If it's not for his projects, he's always writing for other things, and he's so cool, and we're always vibing and working on records. So just to have him come by, he had a demo and he sent it to me. I was like, damn, this hook is fire. And we sat on it for a while, produced it. I linked up with Nicki a couple of times last year. She's like, I want to do something for her album. And I sent her this record and told her it was one of ours. And she was like, I love it because we've done features with her before.
Yeah.
And put that together. And it took a while, she got pregnant and that was all during the same process. So it took a while to get the record cleared, but I'm so glad it's out. It's like a summer jam. I mean, it's like if the carnival season was right now, like we would have parties all the time. It'd be a big record. So we're actually working it all year long. And hopefully clubs open up. You can hear it again in the clubs.
So was it Mr. Easy who came up with the knock knock? Guess who's coming for dinner?
Yeah, that's Easy's hook. And this guy named Camo is the one that did like the, Camo. Oh my God, I've never seen that. And then
a bottom like this. I love it. I love everything about it.
Me and Fred produced it, and then Nicki jumped on it and killed it with the verses. And she sent like 10 verses before she liked the one that she picked. And she's a hard worker, man.
That's how she is. Yeah, everybody that I talk to that got a Nicki verse say the same thing. She'll send you 1,000 different verses. So I really love the video too. So the song, if you listen to the lyrics, is about a girl with a big butt, right? So in the video, you have a Ken and a Barbie. And then like a voluptuous Nicki Barbie comes and takes Ken away from white girl Barbie. Like, who came up with that treatment for the video? I love it.
There's this group called the Real Goats. I saw them. They did a lot of work with the baby, and I just hit them up. And my director, my video commissioner, Sarah Natoff Honey Esquire, decided to find them, and I linked them, and they're just awesome, man. The Real Goats, some of the best producers right now, and hip hop and everything. So they hit me up. They were like, "Oh, we love this record. We want to do it," and enough dancing in it, so it was perfect.
It was fire. Check out the video. Here's the song. You want to introduce the song?
All right, I gotta get out of here. But before I do, this is Mr. Easy, Major Lazer, Oh My God, with Nicki Minaj right here.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Major Lazer, Diplo, I Mina SayWhat. You're on. And the album's coming, right?
Coming
Music is a
Thursday night.
weapon. Yes,
Music
yes.
is the weapon. No, music is the weapon. Yeah. Truth is
Yeah.
the mission. Music is the weapon. Part one. All right.
The
I'll see
album's
you
out
later.
right now. Diplo, Major Lazer, it's the Heat, SiriusXM.
Peace.